All right, man. Here we go. Melle Mel. Happy to have you on the platform, my man.
My brother, nice having me. Nice to be here. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. It's an honor having you on the platform, man. We had to run it back, man. We did an interview some years ago that people love, so it was only right, man, to bring you back, yo.
My brother, appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. So I gotta ask you, man. The Grammys, man. I seen you at the Grammys, man. You was doing your thing. You was performing. You had your shirt off, man. You was doing your thing, yo. Take me through that, yo. How was that experience like, yo?
It was a great experience. I mean, just doing the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Big shout out to the father of hip hop, Kool Herc, and all the rest of the OGs. But I mean, it was a good experience because it's like we had a chance. Our generation had a chance to be in that light. That we don't usually be in. It's very rare we be there. And then the young people had a chance to see exactly who we are and how it all works out. Because I mean, if you look at let's just say if it was 14 or 16 minutes long, that was the quickest 16 minutes I ever seen in my life. Because it went back to the beginning. Everybody was up there just having a good time with it. You had your little, a minute and a half of fame or shine or whatever, and you made the best out of it, but you had a good time with it. And even the practices, it was all love. Seeing DMC, seeing Flav, he looked great. Chuck, it's just a great experience. Ice-T, it was just it was a good look for the overall of hip hop because you don't see a lot of that. What you see mostly now is young dudes being young, acting young. What you seen then was 50 years of hip hop with all the pioneers and how it sizes up. There's no real difference between a young dude and an older dude if he's thorough. You see what I'm saying? When I came in and threw them guns up, I mean, can't nobody look too much better than that. And I'm 61 years old, but I work at it. So I think that was, for me, that was the underlying story of the whole thing. We had a chance to be seen by the world in our right light, in our proper light. 50th anniversary of hip hop. Thank you, Questlove. It was a great idea for him to put the whole thing together and the way he put it together. And, it was all love.
Yeah, man. What I did want to ask you about, man, I wanted to ask you about the process of it. How did that come about? Them reaching out to you, and the reason why I asked you that is because I seen a situation with Willie D and Scarface where they was going back and forth, and they had a little, I guess you could say, argument where Willie D, he felt the type of way because he was like, yo, Scarface, you performed the song, my mom's playing tricks on me, and I was a part of the song, but they didn't invite me to the Grammys. And I think Scarface said that, yo, I didn't know what song I was performing until I got to the Grammys. So out of curiosity, how was that process like, them reaching out to you?
Well, with us, I think they reached out. Originally, they wanted me and Scorpio to do the message. We're just going to do a piece of the message, and that's what I understood. But Flash was DJing with Jeff and I think it was DJ Khaled. That's the original story I heard. That actually the dynamics changed as it went along. But then I guess somebody came up with the idea of Flash DJing for us on stage when we did our set, and then Raheem had came in the picture. That's how he got involved. But and then it turned into us doing the beatbox, that flash it to the beat, which was a great idea. I wouldn't have thought of that one. And that's another testament to what Questlove, like, I guess he had a vision of the whole thing. And I wouldn't have never thought about doing flash it to the beat. I would have did either White Lines or the Message, and just be done with it. But I guess he wanted to come right from the beginning to the essence of the whole thing. And I guess that's why he chose Flash to the Beat, and we just do a piece of the message because that's our staple song. And I would just like to say, now, you could hear, it was like, it might have been 14, 16 groups or whatever. You could hear 150 stories about groups that should have been there. And if those groups would have been there, it would have probably amounted to the same thing. But you only had, that whatever 16-minute window. So whoever came out there, I guess it was, I'm not saying it's the luck of the draw, but that's just how everything went. You know, it's just like when I spoke to Ice-T and he said that he wasn't going to do it. And Questlove said, you know, I think you might want to be a part of this. It's the 50th anniversary. It's going to be on the Grammys, blah, blah, blah. I seen him the next day when we did the final practice. He said, I think it was a good idea for me to do it because if I didn't do it, they had Ice Cube's number on speed dial. So, you know, either it was going to be one or it was going to be the other. You see what I'm saying? So we could have been replaced by 4 or 5 groups, but the way it came out, we just so happened to be available. We came out there, and it all worked out. But, you know, all the pieces could have changed. It could have been interchangeable, but, you know, the way it worked out, And, I mean, some people was a little salty, but, you know, that's just the way how things stack up sometimes.
Oh, I didn't know that. So if Ice-T didn't do it, they was going to reach out to Ice Cube.
Well, that would have been hypothetical. That would have been, and that would have probably been the natural thing to do. It was basically it's a hypothetical, but that's probably what would happen if Cube wouldn't have did it. Because I mean, like let's just say for me, it might have been 2 or 3 groups or people that was missed. Definitely Snoop could have been there. He definitely could have been there. Sugar Hill Gang could have been there. Because they did the actual first song. But, you know, historically, they could have been there. And you know, off the top of your head, you could probably name about 20 other groups that could have been there. But you only had 16 minutes. You didn't have, the hour that it would have took to do it properly. And even if you had an hour, it would have still been another 20, 30 groups saying, well, we should have been there. You know what I mean? I mean, Tiny T could have been there for, he was the first guy I ever heard coming out of the West Coast doing it. So, but like I said, you had 16 minutes. I think for what it was worth, I think it held up the whole complexion of what hip hop really could be if the industry wouldn't, just keep being involved and fucking it up. I think that's what hip hop could be. You got some classic cats and they could do their thing, and then you got the young cats and of course they could do their thing. But I think as a classic cat and one of the dudes that been doing it for 40 years, I think I should have the same opportunity as these young guys. I mean, even if my shit was bullshit, a lot of this shit is bullshit. So you mean to tell me a young dude could bullshit, but a young dude could write some bullshit, but an older guy can't write bullshit? I mean, I could write some bullshit. I could write, shut up, bitch, I'll slap the shit out you. I could write that. You know what I'm saying? I could, I could do that.
Yeah, speaking of that, I wanted to ask you, how did you like the ending of the show or whatever? Because you had some people that felt the type of way, like, they couldn't get, the ending, the new artists they had, they couldn't get a Kendrick Lamar or a J. Cole. They had these rappers end the show. How did you like the ending personally?
Well, the ending was where I got my best my best shine at the very end when I came out and started flexing. See the thing is this. Kendrick was there, so I don't know why he wasn't on there because he got a Grammy. He was in the room that night. Slick Rick, which is one of the guys that could have been there, he had got a Lifetime Achievement Award, but for some reason he wasn't there. So I mean, there's a lot of politics. Lil Wayne, he did the practices, and for some reason, when it got down to when we actually did it, Lil Wayne he didn't do it. So I don't know what's the reason why he didn't do it, but I know he was there and he was in the practices. And like I said, it could be, 20, 30 other people, and and a lot of people would probably be disappointed because they didn't see younger guy, but you see them niggas all the time. So I mean, you're just gonna see whoever you just seen. The beauty of it for me is like, nobody seen me in a minute. So when I came out there and I threw them guns up, I looked good. So. I mean, you stand a young dude next to me, whether he gonna look like my son or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how, but see, that's hip hop. There's a million different ways to do it, and everybody can't be satisfied. But for the most part, I would say 75-80%. People thought it was. I mean, the audience loved it, and they thought it was a great look.
Right. So I gotta ask you, right? The elephant in the room, man. It went crazy viral. Everybody around hip hop was talking about it. People still, around hip hop is talking about it. I think Lil Wayne just reacted to it. So, everybody's still reacting to it. But the hip hop, Billboard, right? They came out with a top 50 rappers of all time list. The top 50 rappers, and they had you at 48th. How you feel about that, man?
Well, first of all, Billboard don't know nothing about hip hop to be, I mean, and everybody do it, but and when people do that, let's just say if the Source magazine did it or whatever hottest magazine, I don't think that they got the clout to do something like that. Because first of all, if you put the list together, like let's just say, if KRS put that list together, it would mean more than just some weirdo that worked for Billboard magazine that's putting this list together. If you had 3 or 4 of the top MCs, and if they did that list, it would be more credible. Who is this guy on Billboard to say who's the top 50 of anything? When he's not, this guy that wrote that list, he's not the top 50 on nothing. What do he know about being top 50 about anything? Now, when you talk about hip hop, my personal feelings is, and I always say this: if you think that there's 50 great rappers, then you're not one of them. And I always say it's not even 50 great men in history that you could just point out 50 people. But you're going to say it's 50 great MCs? Okay, yeah, it is 50 guys that, y'all did some songs. You know what I mean? It's 50 guys that could rhyme. Okay, y'all said some rhymes or y'all spit some bars. But is it great? I guess the guy that from Billboard, I guess he would say it is. Me being Melle Mel, me being the first great rapper, hands down, I say no. It's not 50 guys. In my opinion, it's not even 10 guys. That's great. It might be 10 guys that you like, but like I said, who's doing the list? If you put a panel together of 4 or 5 great MCs, let them do the 50, not just some dude. Who is this dude? You see what I'm saying? Who are the people that keep coming up with these lists? And then you have like a good lyricist compared to somebody that just made a hot record whenever they made the record. It don't balance out. You see what I'm saying? If you take in any of these guys now, and I'm not saying Kendrick Lamar, but or the Baby, like some of them guys that I didn't see the list. But most of the guys, I could almost guarantee most of the guys that's in that top 30 shouldn't even have been on the list, the top 30. Because what did they do great? See, they throw around the word great loosely, even in basketball. 75 great players. It might be, but I would tend to disagree. It's obviously it's 50 guys that did rap. Are they really great rappers? See, greatness changed the landscape. You have to have changed something. If you set a rhyme, or if you made a record, and after you made that record, if nothing changed, that's not great. Now, everybody might have liked it. You know what I'm saying? Eminem made a record, it sold 10 million. The Message didn't sell 10 million. Who's great? What criteria are you measuring greatness on? Sales? Because if you measure in sales, okay, Eminem could be the greatest rapper of all time. If you doing it on a criteria of who changed the landscape, now you're going back to the Rakims. Now you're going back to somebody like Kool G Rap. If you're going to the criteria just a pure rapper, then now you're going to somebody like Black Thought. You see what I'm saying? If you would let, like me, if I'm on the panel, my criteria is an overall 360 MC. You had to do the records. You had to do it on stage. You had to have the studio poise. You had to have the lyrical content. So I would say somebody like Busta Rhymes, if you want a 360 rapper, he got the hooks, he got the lyrics, he got the stage presence, he got a good studio game. He could write his own rhymes. Who's going to challenge Busta right now? Who on that top 10 list? Who on that top 10 list is going to go up against Busta? And I'm telling you, it's nobody. It's nobody. So, like I said, that 50 great MCs thing, unless you're going to get great MCs to define greatness. Define greatness. Greatness ain't who sold the most records. Because if that's the case, then Cardi B is one of the top rappers, and that's not true. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to just say who made a hot record or who had hot records, you see what I'm saying? It's just like even when with Lil Wayne and it was Drake and like so and there's no slight on Lil Wayne, because I think he's a very capable rapper and I think he does his thing very well. But if your voice is on auto-tone, how do we know how great it is? You just don't know. You see what I'm saying? It's not like he just got just a natural rapper. One of the greatest natural rappers that I ever heard was Kool G Rap. Why he's not on the top of the list? Because he never had that one big breakout song that could put him there. Grandmaster Caz, same thing. Why he's not on the top of the list? Because he never made a song that everybody remembered and recognized. That list is mostly based on records and great rappers. Not all of them made great records. I'm just so happen to be one of the guys. Being from the beginning, I covered a lot of the different bases of what it would take to make a great MC. And in my opinion, which should count a lot more than a lot of people's opinion, and especially should count more than whoever wrote that article in Billboard, or whoever did the 50 greatest on the Source, or with these lists that they keep coming out. In my opinion, greatness changed things. If somebody made a record today, and if the game didn't change tomorrow, you're not that great. You can't be, because greatness changed things. You just so happen to be a guy that made a record that a lot of people like. But to throw that word around, great, it ain't 50 great. Like I said, I'll reiterate what I said earlier. If you think that is 50 great rappers, chances are you're not one of them. You're probably somewhere in the 2,338,000 best rapper in the world, and that's why you like 50 guys.
Yeah, that list, man, I had everybody. You said some real shit about it. One thing I did want to ask you, because it was some backlash in regards to number one, like people getting tired of seeing him at number one and stuff. But I wanted to get your opinion. They had Jay-Z at number one, the greatest rapper of all time. How you feel about that?
Like I said, it all depends on what would you consider greatness. Now, obviously, he has his studio game down. Obviously, he sold the records. But now my point is, could he go up against Busta Rhymes? Could he go up against Eminem? You see what I'm saying? Is layers to it. Now, if you want to just talk about just the overall achievement throughout a career, okay, you got Jay-Z, right? But now you also got LL, and LL he was great, but he was great for a longer span of time. Now, should LL be the greatest rapper, or should they be 1 and 2? See, those lists, they're very it's like it's whoever this guy like. You see what I'm saying? It would be very hard to pick out the greatest rapper of all time unless they all was in the same place at the same time. Prove it. Do that. Because just for, like if you like Jay-Z more than you like Eminem or vice versa, that's who you're gonna pick. Like everybody be like, and this is, and like I talk hip hop with people all the time, 24 hours a day. That's that's my life. And a guy stopped me on the street, and then it'd be like, do you want to hear my top 5? And in my head, I'm like, hell no. Fuck that. But I listen to it, and it's always different. Because what criteria is it based upon? Is it based upon the record sales? Is it based upon the totality of a career? Is it based upon his technique as a rhymer? Even in greatness and in rapping, stage presence has nothing to do with it. And some of the guys that you would consider great rappers, they have no stage presence. They have, if you watch them on stage, it's almost like, watching Bob Marley's dreadlocks grow or something. So to me, all of that should be the equation. But the main thing is, these guys, if you're not a qualified rapper, stop talking about greatness. That's like me, who never played a game of basketball in over maybe 25 years, and my opinion is going to really count on who I would think is the greatest of all time in basketball. And I should have an opinion, but my opinion shouldn't count. Like, if I'm having this same conversation with John Sally or Earl of Pearl Monroe, my opinion shouldn't count. Not to his. You see what I'm saying? So some guy that write for the Source magazine or the Vibe magazine, his opinion could count. But then if Melle Mel say so and so and so and so, how do he? Because I was there. If anybody should know, I should know. I'm great. If anybody should know greatness, I should know greatness because I'm one of them. And who are you? Who is the guy from the Vibe? You see what I'm saying? Who is the guy that stopped me on the street and said, do you want to hear my top 5? And, out of respect and for my people in love, I'll listen to it. But it don't matter. You're the guy that just came out of the fish spot on 125th Street. Who gives a fuck who you think is top 5 is? Now, if you got 5 top 5 rappers, or quote unquote, it's interchangeable, then you can get a list that would make some sense. Then you can get, because it'll be based on a certain criteria instead of just who likes who, because that's like ice cream, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, butter pecan.
Right. That's real talk. So since you are Melle Mel and you know greatness, like you just said, if anybody, you the one that know greatness. So when it comes to the Billboard Top 50 and they got Jay-Z at number 1, do you think you're the greatest rapper of all time?
I think if I had to pick somebody right now, I'd put my money on Busta. Could Busta take Jay-Z? Yes or no? Could he take him? Could Jay-Z take Busta? Yes or no? If I'm gonna have to pick somebody, now, I don't have no fear of getting on stage with anybody and crossing bikes with anybody. Busta's a hard draw. That would probably be the hardest draw in the game. Because he got all the intangibles. He got like is a certain thing that Busta got that a lot of MCs don't got. When he coming on that stage, if you out in the crowd, something is about to happen. It ain't just a regular, run of the mill. Okay, I can't wait for him to do so and so song. It's about to happen. It's that magnetism. It's like a different level that all MCs don't have that he got. And like I said, I'll ride with Busta. I'm gonna ride because and I don't know if you got the list in front of you. Where's Busta on that list?
Right. Yeah, I'm about to look that up right now. But that's an interesting take you said, because Busta Rhymes, you don't really hear his name, so you feel like Busta Rhymes is better than Jay-Z then? As an overall 360 of an MC, the pen game, the studio game, the rap game, but the stage presence, that got to be in the equation. And absolutely, Busta's stage presence is better than Jay-Z's. Absolutely. I mean, there's no denying that. Busta got better stage presence than, like I said, did you see where Busta is on that list? 33.
Now, it ain't 33 guys that could take the guy. That's my point. Now, if he's 33, It's not 33 guys that's going to say, I want Busta. I want to do the what do they call that? The Swiss Beats, that little platform that he got. I want to do the
Versus.
I want Busta. Don't nobody want him. It ain't gonna happen. He could call dudes out. It's not gonna happen because see, the type of MC that Busta is more along the lines of what we was trying to do back in the day. It's like, you take your lunch pail to work and you go to work and you work hard. It's not like as time went along, it's like the industry kind of guy, the entrepreneur kind of guy, the guy that could do 3 or 4 things. He making all different kind of money. You know what I mean? And it's a place for those guys, and it is greatness in that. But I'm talking about 24/7, 365 days a year. Wake Busta up out of his sleep. Wake Melle Mel up out of his sleep. Wake Kaz up out of his sleep. Give this nigga a mic. Something gonna happen. That's my opinion of MCing, and I'm gonna reiterate. And my opinion should count more than the guy from the Vibe, because there's no way that Busta Rhymes is 33 and the greatest rapper of all time. When who's gonna rap with the guy? That's the hardest draw. I mean, is ways. Look, is levels to MCing. It's not necessarily what you say. I took my shirt off at the Grammy and I got more of a buzz than half the people on that list. And I didn't say a word. I took my shirt off. I did a front double bicep. I did a crucifix pose. But that's my style of MCing. Like how Bruce Lee fighting without fighting. This is rapping without rapping. When I throw them things up, you look at it, it's like, God damn. I ain't got to say much after that. Somebody say ho, somebody scream. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's different levels to MCing. This guy that wrote that list, he's basing everything on one certain level. And the level is this. The criteria is this. Is it whoever he like? Who cares? Who is this guy? Who cares?
Right, and something else, man, that went crazy viral, and it had a whole lot of people upset it, and you had people debating, and I want to get your opinion on it, since, you is one of the greats, so you could speak on who was greater. A lot of people felt the type of way, because they had Jay-Z at number 1, and they had Tupac at number 4, and they were saying Jay-Z is greater than them. What you think about both artists, and do you agree?
I wouldn't. Tupac, he's the embodiment of his career and what he meant to hip hop. It's just like if you compare Tupac to, and the comparison that you'd always get is Tupac and Biggie. Biggie raps, he has a better rap game than Tupac. Tupac is a greater rapper than Biggie. And I would say the same thing for Jay-Z. Jay-Z has a better rap game than Tupac. Tupac's rap game is I'm not going to say basic, but is predictable. It's everything. It sounds like what Tupac is saying, but his game is more versatile. He wrote about more than one, he had more than one topic of discussion. Like he had more of a range of what he could say. I think Jay-Z has a better spit game, but to say that makes the better rapper, see, that's being judged on one criteria. To say that Jay-Z he's a better rapper, but see, now you're throwing around the word great. And then that's where people's feelings get involved. You see what I'm saying? If you just had to pick the better rapper, Jay-Z's a better rapper. And a lot of people might not think so, but that's your opinion. So now, I guess it would be on an individual person. Put in your 40 years, and then your opinion might count. Other than that, you just some guy that's mad because they picked Jay-Z. They said Jay-Z was a greater rapper than Tupac. Me personally, like I said, I don't believe in the top five. It's not nothing that nobody said is of that much importance for you to consider truly great. I mean, what did Jay-Z say that you can consider truly great? Or what did Tupac say that you consider truly great? You just like the song. Now, me personally, as far as how I felt about hip hop, I never liked what nobody was doing. I don't even like the shit that I did after I did it. I'm trying to do some other shit. You see what I'm saying? So and this is one thing that it tarnishes the game, and then it tarnishes society as well. Don't take hip hop all that serious. The bottom line to all this, out of whether you believe that is one great MC or whether you believe that is 500 great MCs, this is just some nigga talking shit. This is just some nigga talking shit, and everybody's caught up in all that shit. It's just a nigga who's the number one guy? Jay-Z. That nigga, he could talk shit. Who's the number two guy on that list?
The number two guy on this list was Kendrick Lamar.
He's just another nigga talking shit. And I'm not going to put him number two. Who's the number three guy?
Nas.
Another nigga talking shit. It's just niggas that talk shit. How you going to take a nigga talking shit that serious? Who is this nigga, and what has this nigga done for you to take whatever come out his mouth serious? That's why the streets is fucked up. Because they listen to all these guys, and it's just a nigga talking shit, and you take what he says literally and seriously without him having to do nothing else except for saying what he said. All of these guys come from a neighborhood. All of these niggas' neighborhood is in shambles. You can't change your neighborhood. So where is the greatness involved? The part that I get, I understand the music part. The part that I don't get, I don't understand the man part, because I know for a fact the average dude that whatever he says on a record, he's not taking it that literally and seriously. You are when you listen to it. So you got 50 niggas on a list that talk shit, but then you got 3 or 4, 5 million people that caught feelings, and all the while, out of all this so-called greatness and niggas talking shit, our kids can't read. Our kids are failing in education, but they know every rhyme about this nigga talking shit. Talking shit. These niggas talk a lot of shit. And everybody is more interested in that than the fact that our kids are failing because they listen to that. All of the shit that's going on in that drill rap. And motherfucker try to go into different levels, or maybe it's the home environment, maybe it's some socioeconomic shit. No, they listening to a nigga talking shit. This nigga, they've been listening since they were in their mother's womb about niggas selling dope and killing each other. And then they come out the womb and they listen to the same shit. And then they see the same niggas talking the same shit. And then they go outside and do the same shit that they heard. And that's why the streets is fucked up. And that's why I dismiss all of that 50 great MC shit, because what did it turn into? 40 years ago, when we started doing this motherfucking hip-hop, niggas that was gangbanging got into the music because of what we was doing. Not necessarily what we was saying. We wasn't out there saying, yeah, well, y'all should, stop gangbanging. Y'all shouldn't be the black spades. That ain't you. We wasn't saying nothing like that. It was because of what we did. It was the movement. It was the culture. It was the happening, what was happening that drove people away from it. These dudes, everybody is stuck and sprung on this illusion that these rappers are the hella niggas. And they not. And even the niggas that they want to be like, they ain't the hella niggas. They not. The hella niggas bust their ass. The hella niggas ain't going to take nothing from nobody. A hella nigga is going to see if you got a Maserati, I'm a hella nigga, I'm going to bust my ass, I'm going to get me a Maserati. A hella nigga ain't like, I'm gonna see this nigga and I'm gonna take his car and I might even kill this nigga. Or I'm gonna take this nigga chain and I'm gonna kill this nigga. But then I ain't even gonna wear the chain. Can't even wear the chain. Nigga got shot in Roscoe's. Took the chain. If the chain was worth $50,000, what you got for the chain? 3? And all of this is based on, like I'm saying, I'm not ranting. All this is based on y'all listening to niggas talk shit and you taking it literally and word for word. You're taking it literally and word for word. Listen, if you did that to the Bible and the Quran, it's gonna come out wrong. If you took the Bible word for word, literally, it's gonna come out wrong. The Quran, if you take it literally word for word, it's gonna come out wrong. So you mean to tell me you're gonna take everything that Nas said, everything that Jay-Z said, Kendrick said, Kane said, I said, Biggie said, you're gonna take what all Ice Cube said, you're gonna take all that literally and seriously, and then expect for your people to turn out right? You got more girls because of listening to niggas rhyme. They come across like dudes, and they be a nice looking girl, but her mannerism is like a dude. Why? She's not a dude, but she listening to these dudes talk this shit, and it rolls off on them. So now everybody's a tough guy. Now every other person is this nigga, that supposed to be so tough right now that and my question is, is it a way that you could be too black? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the way is, you gotta stop listening to people. I mean, look, I've heard all of those songs. I don't listen to it because it means nothing to me if somebody like T.I. or Pusha T talks about selling dope. What does that got to do with me? I'm 61 years old. All my little drug days is way past me. I'm a Hennessy dude. Why would I take that song literally and seriously? Why would I take anything that anybody would say literally and seriously and see and that's the problem. I mean, okay, 50 great MCs, fine, but they all are talking shit, and all the shit that they talk is not going to benefit you one iota unless you listen to it in its proper context. Other than that, you get what you got going on in the street right now. And as far as all the guys that's in that top 5 could be great, but like I said, our kids can't read. They can't tell time.
Right. So yeah. No, I feel y'all. That's real talk. You want to keep going? No, because to get back to the top 5, because like I said, a lot of people value your opinion, so they asked me to bring you on here just so you can break down the list. So before we get off this topic, because I got some more shit I want to ask you about the list or whatever, because I think we went off track a little, but I do want you to break it down for people can get the truth from you, since a lot of people look at you as the greatest ever. Because I don't think I got the clear answer for that. Tupac and Jay-Z, who you feel is greater?
I feel Tupac is a great. His imprint on the game is greater than Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a better rapper than Tupac, though. Just saying, it's the same thing that I feel about Biggie. Biggie's a better rapper than Tupac. Jay-Z is a better rapper than Tupac. Tupac, his imprint in the game, because things change. All that thug life shit, it came from him. Like I said, if you change the landscape, that's greatness. In Jay-Z's position, it's harder to change the landscape because he's a $1 billion dude. You're not gonna have a billion dollar dudes. You're not gonna have 1,000 billion dollar dudes coming behind Jay-Z. But you did have 100 guys that wanted to be like Tupac coming behind Tupac. So that's what I'm saying. The greatness is in how he changed the game, Tupac. But as far as rap go, he's not a better rapper than Jay-Z. He's not a better rapper than Biggie, but his imprint on the game, and that's what I said. My original concept of greatness is you have to change the game. If you did them songs and if nothing changed, if everything stayed the same, you did good songs. That's not great because greatness changed. Alexander the Great, he conquered most of the known world. Genghis Khan, that's great. He conquered most of the known world. He changed the culture. He changed what hip hop, what Tupac did had more to do with changing the culture than what Jay-Z or Biggie did. Right or wrong? Absolutely. They changed the culture more because people, with all the thug life thing and all that, he was the poster child for that, hook, line, and sinker. What we did back in the day, it changed the game. It changed the culture. It made a culture. That's greatness, when you could say something or do something and make a change. Not, you wrote a rhyme and everybody, everybody know the rhyme. If that's the case, that Meek Mill song, I hear people, jumping up and down singing that shit word for word. I don't know what list would Meek Mills be on. I mean, he might be on the list, but that's only because of the song. You see what I'm saying? It's you got to change the description of greatness. You have to change it because what you would think is great is not great. Like I said, it's just some nigga talking shit, and that's why everything is fucked up right now because the average motherfucker that listen to hip hop, they would take a nigga talking shit over a priest or a politician, and now. Even if all three of them not shit, the nigga talking shit, I think that's the last nigga you should be rocking with. You could rock off his songs, but you shouldn't, that's not gonna translate into a lifestyle.
Right. Great breakdown, man. Great breakdown. I never looked at it like that. So yeah, Tupac, he greater than Biggie and Jay-Z.
Absolutely. But what he did for the culture, I mean, that lays it out right there. Without getting into people's feelings. Oh, how could he say that about Ho? Oh, how could he say that about Biggie? Because he changed things more than Biggie. I changed things just as much as Tupac. Easy. You got a culture, the MC culture. That's me. I made it up myself. You see what I'm saying? And I would consider myself as being the greatest, but really at this point in my life, I don't care because everybody is not meant to see things the way I would see them.
Right. One thing I did want to ask you, Lil Wayne. It's funny we doing this interview today because he just came out today and he said that because he was ranked number 7 on the Billboard Top 50 Rappers of All Time, and he came out today saying that I feel like I should be number 1 ahead of Biggie, Tupac, Eminem, Nas, and Jay-Z.
Man, he's wrong. He's wrong. And like I said, for little if you would have enough guys, creditable rappers that really understand the game, I mean, you don't even know his real voice. How do you know? How could you know? How? If his voice is on auto-tune, was something wrong with his voice for them to put the auto-tune on his voice? Or was it just something that they did in the studio just to give it that rawness? You see what I'm saying? But how could you know? You know what I mean? Like if the message came out in auto-tune, like if it came out in the talk box, do you think that would have been a big record? No, it would not. It would have made the record sound a little more cheesier. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, and he's entitled to his opinion, but I guarantee if you had 5 capable so-called great rappers on a panel, I guarantee you Lil Wayne wouldn't be number 1. He wouldn't be. You probably come out with more of Jay-Z being number 1. But it wouldn't. And the reason why I would cancel him out, and like I said, I don't got no, nothing against Anybody. I mean, I don't even listen to rap. Like I said, it's just niggas talking shit. But my point is, if I can't hear your real voice, how do I know that is even you? It could be, I don't know. It's just, you see what I'm saying? It's like, I think that should be something that's in the equation of being a great MC, the quality of your voice. Shouldn't that be in there some kind of way? Shouldn't?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like in singing, I mean, you got to have a good voice to sing. If you had a singer and they put a lot of auto-tune up under the voice, wouldn't singers say, nah, that's because he's not singing. It's auto-tune. So I would feel the same way, you know, about rapping. I mean, you don't know his voice. You don't. So how would you know? How would you know how his voice really sounds? Like if without the auto-tunes, would it be better or would it be worse? And that's the point.
Right. So, are you a fan of Lil Wayne as an artist?
I'm not a fan of nobody. Like I said, it's niggas talking shit. I get you. That shit I would say he makes a lot of good music that a lot of people like, but I don't listen to music like that. Like I hear the songs. I'm not listening. I'm not listening to that shit. I don't even listen to my own shit. It's just, it is what it is.
Right. Eminem. How you feel about Eminem being at number 5? You had some people that felt the type of way about that.
Where that he was too high or too low?
You know how that shit goes, man. Like him being number 5,
but
him
see,
being a white rapper.
And I'm gonna say what I always said. I'm not gonna backpedal that. Obviously, he's a capable rapper. If you was talking about sales, he sold more than everybody. If you're talking about rhyme style, okay, he got a rhyme style. But he's white. He's white. So now, if Eminem was just another nigga like all the rest of us, would he be top 5 on that list when a nigga that can rhyme just as good as him is 35? That had records and all that. He's 35. He's white. And the point is this: if I was white, nigga, I'd be greater than Elvis. Niggas be like, Melle Mel is greater than Elvis. Melle Mel is the greatest white man that has ever lived. He came up with a culture. He's a part of a culture that changed the whole world. That is a great ass white man right there. But I'm not white. I'm one of the niggas. So, So now you could be, anybody could be as mad as they could feel how they want to feel. If you don't think that race plays a part in the equation of how great he is. I heard one of the dudes that's down with him, Royce the 6'9", I heard he's just as good as Eminem. Why ain't he as big as Eminem? Because he black. Ain't none of that shit hard to figure out. Eminem gets a top spot because he's white. Like I said, if I was white, they'd be comparing me to Elvis. It'd be like, that nigga Melle Mel is pretty as Elvis. This motherfucker here. Look at that nigga arm. Look at this nigga. So it has something to do with it. Now whether he would be higher or lower, but still you can't take that out of the equation. And from what I believe and from what I understand, hip hop is nigga business. We just didn't handle it right. Hip hop is nigga business. We just didn't, we just didn't rock out with our best niggas. So,
Right. So when it comes to Eminem, you just feel like him being a white rapper is the reason why people value him so high. If he was a black rapper or whatever, he'll be just another rapper.
If he was a black rapper, he'd be like, he wouldn't even make a list. He wouldn't even make the list probably. But Busta, who I would say is number one. Now see, this is the difference between who writes what list. Busta, I would say, is the number one rapper on the overall. Nobody's going to take Busta. Busta could rap just as good as Eminem. Eminem, he has like his style. He got like a nice little tricky, gimmicky style. The way he put his words together, the way he string his words together is you know, is real. And I'm not gonna say unique because other people could do it, but he does it, right?
You're right,
But
right.
but to say that he would be even sell as many records if he was just another brother, it's not. That's not true. It's just not.
You're right, right. Another one they had on here where people was like, okay, so they had let me go look at this list because I found that they had Rakim at 13 and they had LL Cool J at 14. They had Ice Cube at 18 and they had Big Daddy Kane at 20, but they got Nicki Minaj at number 10 ahead of all of them. How you feel about that?
You know that's some bullshit. Come on now. Kane and them and Rakim and them, they done put in 40. Come on now. I mean, and I actually like Nicki Minaj, but you know that's some bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, where's Remy Ma in that list? Or did she make the list?
Nah, she ain't make the list, yo.
So there you go. See, whoever wrote this list, whoever wrote that list, you gotta understand you got to understand what hip hop really, really is past whoever made what record. You see what I'm saying? Rakim should never be 14 because his style changed the game. The average rapper from a certain point to a certain point, you had to rap like Rakim. That was the only time that cats from my era that we had to alter our style to be more up to date with what he was doing and what was going on when he started rhyming within the rhymes and all that. How could you disrespect the game like that? He's easily, if you just talk about the pure rappers like Rakim and somebody like Cool G Rap, those is basically the top rappers of the game. Pure rappers. Records aside and records aside and all that, just a pure rapper. Rakim, he should never be 14. I mean, if you're talking records and all that, he would be closer to number one because of what he did for the game and the culture. See, that's the angle where I'm coming from. I'm coming from how the game changed and how the culture changed. I'm not coming from who I like rapping because I don't like the way nobody rap. I'm not listening to it. I don't listen to, oh yeah, ooh, what he said, ooh. I'm not into all that. I'm not, I don't got nobody in my head like that except for, the Most High. But but to say L and Rakim is 14 and 15, or somebody 17, but then Nicki Minaj is number 10. Based on what? That's where it don't make sense. Because even when you're getting into the number one, like let's just say even Kendrick Lamar being number 2. I don't know. I mean, he obviously made some good songs, but those songs don't translate into the street part of hip hop. That's like another level of hip hop. I don't know what records that he made like that. I might know one or two of them, but I don't think you hear Kendrick in the club like that. Now it might be a record that's his record that I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm 90 years old, but it don't translate it. It don't translate into him being the number 2 rapper of all time. How does that happen? It shouldn't. Because he's fairly a new rapper. So you mean to tell me that Rakim could put in 30, Kendrick could be on the scene, what was he on the scene for, 5 years maybe?
No, he's been on the scene for a while. I would probably say since like 2010, as far as like a popular worldwide rapper. 2010, 2011.
Really?
Yeah, he been up there for a while.
I don't think you could put him over Rakim though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't put him over Rakim.
I mean, how could you? We talking. I mean, and like I said, when we did the message, that was the beginning of conscious rap. People started talking more conscious. After Kendrick Lamar does these songs, nobody wants to rap like Kendrick Lamar. Nobody wants to rap like Eminem. A lot of people wanted to rap like Pac and Biggie. You see what I'm saying? That's my take on it. If you cool on your own, if nothing changed, if after Eminem make his song and he make his big splash into the game, if you don't have 1,000 white rappers, nothing changed. He's good. He's capable. He's good. But to say that he changed the game like how Pac changed the game is a big difference. But and see, and everybody getting to their feelings about it. I don't give a fuck either way. I mean, the only thing I know for sure is I was the first great rapper. So that's that, and that's my opinion. But you know, like I said, the people that put them lists together, you know, I mean, even beforehand, could they please base it on what criteria that you're putting this list together? What criteria does it fall under? Does it fall under record sales, or does it fall under a longevity of career? Does it fall under stage presence? Does it fall under rap skills? You know, or does it fall under is just the shit that you like? Because if I wrote a list, I'm not the like dude. I'm not the like shit dude. So it would be based on a certain criteria, and then it would and where it would fall, everybody would understand why it got there because it's based on a certain criteria. And in my criteria, it probably wouldn't even be 7 guys, because most of these guys, they made records and they talk shit. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going, you know.
Right. Yeah, I feel you, man. So, with Nicki Minaj, before we get off of her, they had her at number 10, so they had her ranked in front of Queen Latifah, Lauryn Hill, and MC Lyte and stuff like that. Pretty much saying that she's the greatest female rapper of all time. Do you agree?
Absolutely not. How could she be? Is Remy on the list?
No.
Remy wasn't even on the list, so we don't. You don't. I don't know if you could have a female rapper conversation without Remy being on that list when Remy was on the same records with some of the best male rappers, and came up. When, you know, I don't think none of the other females did that. We going on what they did on their own merit, and not saying that they're not great. But what I'm saying is, if Remy's not on that list, when she done went up against male rappers and dominated, I mean, she came up. Like when you hear, you know what I'm saying? She came up. So I don't know if you can't do a credible female list if Remy Ma ain't on that list. It's impossible. And I'm not saying that she would be my favorite female rapper, but I'm saying she should be on the list. She definitely should be on the list.
Mine's is Lauryn Hill, though.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah.
And Ice Cube, he actually came out and he spoke about this list as well. He came out, his stuff, it went viral for him. He wasn't pretty happy. They TMZ, they approached him about the list and he said, Ice Cube, how you feel about the list? They had you 18th on the list, and he pretty much said that fuck Billboard.
Well, you know, but you know, and you can say the same thing for anybody, because see, my thing is this: as far as me being an MC and where anybody would put me on that list as being an MC, it don't matter. Put everybody that's on that list that's still around, just put them on stage. We'll get that shit done. The motherfuckers can see for themselves. Like, you know, that list that's like everybody being in under a microscope of their own. and then but just get everybody on the on stage. Or even when K Slade did Rolling 100 Deep, it was 100 MCs. I was one of them. Look at what I did compared to what everybody on that list did. I did just as good as anybody that was on that record. I did just as good as anybody. As a matter of fact, I think I had the line of the year that year. You see what I'm saying? I'm not, cause that's like, okay, so and so, and then, I'm not resting on what I did 40 years ago. I'm resting on the last thing that you see me do, and I look just as fit as anybody that ever did it, and 90% more fit, and I'm the older guy. I'm 61 years old. And I look just as fit, and given the right promotion and marketing, I can make just as much money as anybody in the game. Our status rides high. We the dudes that started the game, that moved the culture forward. You see what I'm saying? Just to put everybody on the list, and then some people that's on the list, like I said, they fairly new. You know what I mean? Nicki Minaj being on, that's blasphemy. And I don't got nothing wrong with Nicki. I like Nicki Minaj. She could write. She decent looking chick. But even if she was better than Rakim, you don't put her over no goddamn Rakim. What kind of shit is that?
You're right. Something else I did want to ask you, right? About Ice-T. He just did an interview with Big Boy. And when he did an interview with him, he said something that was interesting, man. He said that pretty much how the story goes is Ice-T, he had a song called 99 Problems. And Jay-Z, he came out and he remade his song 99 Problems, but he didn't give him any kind of credit, or he didn't give him a shout out in the song. So Ice-T, he did an interview with Big Boy, and he pretty much was telling the story about how they was at the Grammys. The Grammys y'all was just at. And he said Jay-Z approached him, asking him, was he mad about, him remaking his song, but not, giving him a shout out or anything. And he was pretty much talking about that. From your point of view, how you feel about that, yo? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, the chick just did the message over, and a couple of people did the message over, and they never shouted us out, or come in and do a verse. You know what I mean? So. I mean, it's par for the course. I mean, would I've done it? I don't know. If I made somebody's song over, would I not give them a shout out? I don't know. But I know it's happened to me several times, and I just take it like is a hit record. I mean, streaming wise, the young lady that did the message over, that's one of the highest songs in the world. Did she? I mean, she had Flash in the video, but Flash he didn't write the song. He wasn't one of the writers. He was but.
Right. One thing I did want to ask you, yo, because I don't know if this is true or not, but I want to get it from your point of view. You and KRS-One, is it true y'all had a battle, yo?
If you ask KRS, we did have a battle.
Yeah, he claims y'all had a battle, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, had a battle. And he's the only one that ever told that story. Nobody. I mean, KRS, I love the guy. He's but he's let me just say that he's the only one that had told that story. And it was a room full of people. But he's the only one that tells that story. And what he did when he said the legendary KRS-One battles Melle Mel. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit more legendary than KRS-One. I don't know. So I don't know.
Right. Oh man. One thing I do want to ask you, man. LL. Do you think LL Cool J get the respect he deserves? Because when I see the top 10 rappers of all time, he's barely on there. And when you look at LL, man, just his rap career to his acting career, he's still relevant to this day. How you feel about LL, man?
Well, I think He does, but he gets it because he takes it. Like just to wait around to see where he's gonna move up and down on the list, he don't do that. He's more proactive in what he does, and that's why he's current. That's why he stays current. That's why he got Rock the Bells. He got he got his own radio station. Whereas everybody else, including guys like me and most of the guys, they just they're not as proactive in what they would do to because like I said, if you just judged it on longevity of a career and relevancy, LL could be the #1 rapper. He could be the greatest of all time, but it's not judged on that. You see what I'm saying? It's judged on it's 4 or 5 different criterias from 4 or 5 different people. So he could be, but I don't think he's waiting around just to see where he's gonna come up at on the list.
Right. Somebody, man, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, because like I say, for me, I'm a student of the game. Like I say, man, huge fan of LL Cool J, Rakim, KRS-One. All 3 of them is definitely one of my favorite rappers of all time. So I do my research and shit. But somebody that I feel like was trash from y'all area, or probably the era after you.
No.
Kumo D, bro. I'm sorry, but golly, he was awful, bro.
I thought he was pretty good. He had a good, a good rhyme skill. I mean, if certain people, if you ask, he'd be one of the top guys. He had a pretty good career. He had he had the songs. I think he's is he on that list?
No, they don't got him on here at all. No,
wow.
Sir. Nope.
See, that's shocking. Because he definitely had a good enough rap game. He was a slick enough rapper to,
They had Chuck D at 34.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. Them lists is so sideways. I'm going back to what I'm saying. Just put if you want to see the greatest of all time, because see, they doing it. See, these are the 2 words that everybody got misconstrued. Greatest. So that's not going to be 50 guys. And then of all times, not just your time, of all time, who could have did it then compared to who could do it now? Some guys ain't here. Some guys, they might have fell off in their creativity or whatever it would take for them to be a capable rapper now. Some guys you just don't know because they're not giving a Big Daddy Kane the same opportunity as they would give a Lil Wayne. How would you know that how good Kane is right now? How would you know? You see what I'm saying? So it's based on, I got a material that I've been working on, and a lot of it is crazy, but you won't hear it because if you ask somebody from a record company, oh yeah, well we don't think. Just put out the song like how you put out everybody else's song, because all time means all times, and that's where if you had a proper list, of course I would be. I don't care where I'm at on the list, but if you had a proper list, if they looking at the context of all times, I did it then, and I could still do it now. I work at it. I just didn't take my shirt off and walk out on the Grammys, just like it was magic. And Mel, he's looking crazy. That's not magic. When everybody is doing whatever they doing and bullshitting and smoking weed, I'm in the gym. You know what I mean? And I'm not in the gym and just coming out and eating wheatgrass. I'm a party nigga, so I'm drinking. But I still maintain a good enough physique to where, I go to all the bodybuilding shows. I'm built just as good as a lot of them guys. Natural bodybuilder, natural. So, the greatest of all times is the greatest of all time. It's just like even in basketball. They say either Michael Jordan or LeBron James is the greatest of all times. And I'm telling you, ain't none of them niggas better than Wilt Chamberlain. Not even close. A dude scored 70 points last night. it was maybe about 4 or 5 guys that scored 70 points in a game. And Wilt Chamberlain did that shit maybe about 6 or 7 times in his career. He averaged 50 points in a season. He played 48 minutes a game for a season. Some of these niggas can't even play 2 games in a row. And so we talking about of all, he holds more records in the NBA than LeBron or Michael Jordan. But they ain't looking at of all time. They're just looking at what they know about as far as right now. You see what I'm saying? For what we did back in the day, and I'm not saying you can't compare it. You can compare it. But you have to compare it like Wilt Chamberlain couldn't play against LeBron right now. I could go up against any of these dudes right now. You'll see what it is. And for anybody out there, that is smash Mel. You ain't smashing Mel. Mel is going to be unsmashable. Because I know more about being on stage, being in front of a crowd, being in the studio, writing rhymes than anybody that ever did it. I'm going to always, achieve whatever goal that I set forth and achieve in hip hop. So we talking about the greatest of all times. Let's see if we talking all times. If you talking the greatest right now, okay, fine. I'm number 48 in the list, and they probably did it, because they felt sorry for me. But if we talking about who could do it right now, the list is going to change if you get everybody up there right now.
So how you feel about Michael Jordan?
I don't think he's the greatest of all. I think he's greater than LeBron, but I don't think I think Chamberlain. I think Wilt Chamberlain or even Lou Alcindor would be up there with the greatest of all. I would put them 1 and 2. I would put I'm old school. I would put Bird and Magic right beside Jordan. What did Jordan do as far as, whatever he did, with the championships, but I'm talking about to help move basketball forward. What did anybody do that Bird and Magic didn't do to move basketball forward? If you look at some of them games when they was playing each other, you know exactly how the game came out, and you'll be looking at the game like this on the edge of your seat, how they was making them shots and the back and forth in the game, the closest to the game. I mean, that was the most competitive era in basketball. Jordan, he's good because as a personal player and what he did as far as winning, his will to win and his drive to win, that for those years where he played and won them championships, you can't really beat that. You can't really beat a guy that never played a game 7. Is it that he was that good, or is it the competition was that bad? I mean, you could look at it either way, but he's not. To me, he's not better than nobody's better than Wilt Chamberlain. He holds all the records. Like I said,
do you feel like Michael Jordan is overrated?
Absolutely not. Because here's one of the things where I say what changed. Now let's just say if you don't understand what he did on the court, right? Off the court, he changed sneaker culture. To this day, niggas stay up all night just to get a pair of Michael Jordans, a pair of sneakers from a guy they never even seen this dude play. But that's what I'm saying. Greatness changes cultures. Greatness is not like, okay, yeah, I'm playing, and Tracy McGrady was a great player, but you can't.
Yeah, he was.
You can't stack him up with nobody because what did it change? You see what I'm saying? Michael Jordan changed basketball in a couple of different categories, but he definitely changed it as far as how it spilled over into society, into the street, because that basically made sneaker culture. It's because of him. So and as far as for me, that adds into the equation of greatness, because of the change, But as far as a natural ball player, no, if Wilt Chamberlain was playing right now, he'd be averaging 70. He'd be averaging 70 a season. Nobody could stop him. Nobody would stop him.
Right. Something else I did want to ask you, man. When you look at rappers like a Biggie or Jay-Z and stuff, because you got the message, right? That's, to me, the most iconic hip-hop song of all time. Do you think one of the reasons why people rank somebody like a Pac over them is because he got songs like Dear Mama and Brenda's Got a Baby? Pretty much songs with substance. How you feel about that?
Yeah, because like I said, his range is what made his greatness. His range and the fact, like I said, he poster child all that thuggish image. He poster childed. So it changed. And I'm not saying that it was a good change. I'm not saying it was necessarily a good change, but I'm saying he changed it. So right. He had more of a range, number one, and number two, you even hear rappers now that, they want to be the next Tupac, every other rapper, had that coming out of his mouth. So, but the consciousness did have a lot to do with it because there's something to be said for conscious hip hop. Because hip hop being the soundtrack of people's lives, if you just going by what you would hear now, it ain't a lot going on with people. It ain't a lot going on. Whereas if it was more conscious music, then people have a chance to make a better choice about who they gonna be in this modern society. Can't nobody tell me that all this violence that's based on the hip hop lifestyle or quote unquote hip hop lifestyle. Can't nobody tell me that it's a upside to it. Can't nobody tell me that. And it done went into all the corners of media. I mean, look at how much these guys be beefing on social media. And the guys that's beefing, they should beef. But everybody ain't supposed to be hearing that beef. Because what they talking about ain't on these little niggas' pay grade. And that's why a little nigga, and it's the same thing in hip hop, a little nigga could appear like a big nigga. You see what I'm saying? When two guys is ripping on social media, that's supposed to be a conversation that wasn't supposed to be on social media. Because y'all little niggas, y'all ain't privy, y'all ain't supposed to be privy to even the attitude that's coming out of this nigga mouth. Because that's never gonna be you. But then when you try to do that, you're just gonna fuck up your whole life. It's just like a lot of rappers could be better rappers if they stop rapping like everybody else. What is it that you need to say? You could be the nigga that made the song about a pool party, but you fucked around and listened to Meek Mills, and you fucked around and did some dumb shit. It's just like when 50 Cent was doing this shit, and then when Ja Rule, and that was probably one of his last big, got 100 rounds, 100 clips. I'm from New York, New York. If he would have just made that record a pure New York record, it would have been a way bigger record. But he went the route of trying to sound hard because 50 Cent sound hard. And it was still a good record, but I'm just saying, if he would have just made it a pure New York record, like how Jay-Z did with his New York record. You see what I'm saying? If he would have went along the same lines as that. So the point's in that consciousness does have its place in hip hop, but everybody is too scared about not being hard. And that's the destruction of the whole game. That's
Speaking of Ja Rule, right? He made some comments as of late. It's funny you say this name because he actually came out and he was mad and he was just like, it ain't 50 rappers that's better than me. And because he was mad because he didn't make the list. Do you think he should have been on that list?
I like Ja Rule. I mean, he could have been on the list. But like I said, if I had a list, he wouldn't been on the. If I had a list, he wouldn't be on the list because it wouldn't be 50. It would be about 5 guys. You see what I'm saying?
Who your 5 guys?
I mean, I'm just messing with the greats. You know, obviously Rakim. You know, me, Kaz, G-Rap. Mo D. We're gonna keep it real simple.
Okay. I mean, I respect it. So one thing I do want to ask you, I want to go back to Wilt Chamberlain, because this is a narrative that goes on, and I want to get your take on it. How you feel about the people that say that, you know, Wilt Chamberlain, he was going against plumbers, he was going against mailmen, and you know, how you feel about the people that say that, and you know how you feel about the people that say that, yo?
I think a mailman could probably beat some of these dudes that's playing right now. When they just had the All-Star game, some nigga you didn't know won a slam dunk contest. You didn't even know this nigga. He could have been a plumber. He won a slam dunk contest. And then they said, oh yeah, well that just go to show how better athletes they are now than then. No, that means that guy won and that he was better than all these guys that's supposed to be superstars. Look, Wilt Chamberlain played in between Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, if you want to call them plumbers, you know what I mean? Havlicek and all them. And like I said, he broke all with the guy that scored 70 points. If you look at who scored 70 points in a game, if it's 10 guys, Wilt got about 6 of them. He did it 6 times, and everybody else did it once. Kobe did it once. If Kobe's a great player, he did it once. Wilt Chamberlain did it 6 times, 7 times, 5 times. He played 48 minutes a game and averaged over because he even played the overtime. He averaged 50 in a season. He averaged 40 in a season. He had the best, and they didn't even count blocks when he was doing it, but he had the best overall game. It was, I mean, just a sick number. He had like a quintuple double. Not even the like maybe it's like 6 doubles. 6. Guys now they work management. They can't even play 2 games in a row. LeBron got to take days off. Ain't no days off. He won all the scoring titles. He got he got more records, unbroken records in the NBA than anybody in the game. And if he was playing right now with his athleticism and it's not like he was lumbering and quick, and it's not like he couldn't pass. He'd average 60 a season. He could probably score 100 on one of these dudes right now.
So what would you say about the people that say that Shaq, he would smash Wilt Chamberlain?
Nah, he wouldn't. Wilt Chamberlain, he was strong. He wasn't. He was long. He had that long, but he was strong. He would be able to he would be able to bang with Shaq. Because once he stand and look, do you think Shaq would get on them slam dunks on Wilt? He's up there. He's up there with him. He's up there. I mean, he wasn't a lightweight. He was a strong dude. Wilt Chamberlain, number 1, hands down for me of all times. You can't his one-on-one. Nobody's going to beat Wilt. One-on-one. Nobody's gonna beat him. He did too. Look, if you were to give the ball to LeBron, Jordan, or any of them, they're not scoring 100 points in a game. If they were to play a college team, they wouldn't score 100 points. You got guys in the off season. I think one year Kevin Durant scored 80 on some street ballers. You didn't score 100. Chamberlain scored 100 points. And he didn't only score. He had to have gotten rebounds. He had to have gotten assists. You see what I'm saying? And the game was harder. He wasn't babysat like, after a while they started babysitting guys. Around Jordan's era, they started babysitting guys.
How you feel about Kobe, yo?
I think Kobe. I mean, next to Jordan, he definitely had the will to win. I don't think that's a comparison either. I don't think you compare Kobe with Michael Jordan because it's basically like comparing a father to his son, basically. Because
hey, you being a fan of music, yo, how you feel about Drake? I would love to get your take on Drake.
I think he write good songs. I mean, cause this is like, and I don't listen to music a lot. I just hear what I hear in the club, or just what I hear on the radio, and then it'll be a song playing, and this done happened about 8 or 9 times, and I'll be like, yeah, I kind of like this song. Who wrote that song? And they say Drake. So I tried to hate on him, you know what I'm saying? But he write good songs. I mean, you know, and not all of them is rap, but not every song has to be rap. He's a talented guy. He knows how to write. And even if he don't know how to write, he know how to put the songs together. He got, you know, he write good songs. Did he make the list?
Yeah, he was in the top 10.
Oh, let's say I don't know about that one either.
You don't think Drake a top 10 rapper of all time?
Not of all time, no. Like I said, I don't even have a 10, but he's not. No, not of all time. No.
Right. So for me, one thing I did want to ask you, which was an interesting thing, I think DELRAY wanted me to ask you this. So, oh man, this was a good one. Yeah, so Silka Shaka, I don't know if you know who Silka Shaka is, but he told a story about how Jay-Z, he did a verse for him, but Jay-Z, and he offered Jay-Z $100K for doing the verse for his song, and Jay-Z turned it down out of respect or whatever, and he was just like, nah, I just respect you as a person, I'm not going to charge you for it. And one thing I did want to talk to you about, and I wanted you to go into detail if you don't mind, man. In one of Tupac's last interviews, he was talking about helping y'all get a record deal by just, using his name or whatever. And is it true that y'all got like 250,000, $500,000 or whatever for the deal, using Tupac, name or whatever, but he ain't want none of the money, he let y'all keep it all?
No, it wasn't. Actually, he died before the deal actually got done. I mean, we did do a deal, but it was a way smaller deal because it was just me and Scorp that did the deal. Once Tupac passed, that whole, that whole thing just kind of fell by the wayside because it wasn't even based on us or his dudes. It was just based on having an affiliation with Pac, and we could get, and if we can get a song or two on the album, and just the connection with, with us being, the OGs, and then with his dudes being the young dudes, and then him being Tupac, then that was the whole, that was the whole thread that held it together. But after he passed, all that fell by the wayside, and we wound up doing a way smaller deal, and we didn't get no real push on the album, but I was satisfied with how the album came out. But yeah, that whole thing was basically just based on Tupac because he was he was the hottest dude at that time.
I mean, that's pretty honorable though. I mean, he didn't want nothing back from it, no money or anything. He was just like, yo, I'm gonna just give y'all.
Yeah, he was just but I mean, see the way I seen Tupac, and the way I seen him as a cat, like he might have got, and a lot of dudes do it, so it's not like it's something that's original with him. He might have got caught in playing a certain role or having a certain persona, because I do it with my persona, but it's not like But and he got caught playing that persona, but and I'm not saying that I spent a lot of time around Tupac, but just the time that I did spend around him, he was more of a deep thinker than what people would think he is. He had more of an intellect, and if he would have still been around today, you would have probably seen, because I seen an interview where he was talking about voters' registration rights back then. You see what I'm saying? So he was more, but now if you look at his image or the image that he portrayed, you would say, man, Tupac don't vote. Tupac ain't got a vote. He ain't. But he was talking about that back then, as far as what we should do as a people to better ourselves as people back then. But he got caught up in the role, and especially when the role get you money and notoriety, it's easy to get lost in that role, and he might have and that might have been what more happened. But like I said, for the time that I spent around him, you could tell, and it ain't like we had a bunch of deep conversations or nothing like that. We in the studio, we kicked it, we wrote some rhymes, we drank some Hennessy, you know what I mean? But you could tell he was a lot more of a deep thinker, just by looking at him. He was a lot more of a deep thinker. That whole thug persona, I don't think wasn't really him. I mean, it ain't, it wasn't like he was a punk or nothing like that. But that whole thug persona, I don't think that was him. And I think time would have showed us the real greatness, because I think he would have tried to change a lot of what was. He would have had a lot to say about a lot of things, and he would have tried to change, because I think he was one of them dudes, like myself. He would, I'm for my people. I think he was for his people, but he that whole persona that he because that was his bread and butter. So he had to ride it out, and everybody know the rest.
Ice-T, right? He made a comment saying that he stopped rapping after artists became goofy and soft. How do you feel about him saying that in today's music, artists being,
Well, I mean, he was definitely one of the first dudes to actually do it, and at one point it did get goofy. You know what I'm saying? And even the stuff that ain't soft. Hey, and I'll make no bones about it. A lot of this shit going on right now is trash. It's trash. And you could tell it's trash by the way people react to it. You could tell it's trash by two supposed to be grown men can't do nothing without having an argument or a fight. All this killing on the street. All these dudes killing other dudes because they listening to trash. And even beyond that, see, I follow a lot of trends as far as violence and how people react and what people react and get violent off of. Forget about that. If you want to, because people sweep that under the rug. Society's like, okay, it's just something that happened in the hood. Okay, yeah, fine. But if you look at how easy a dude to kill is broad nowadays, and it be young broads. 40, 50 years ago, that would happen to a woman in her 30s and then in the 40s. You was involved with her and you killed her somewhere along the line. Maybe they got a dude that's 24, he'll kill a girl that's 17. It happens every day. A dude to kill a broad. And because the music got it to where it normalized it, nobody's looking at it. They just looking at it like it's something that just happens, because you in the hood. And really, it's based on them songs. And at some point, either the DJs or somebody gotta change the tone. Somebody got to get to the point where we getting back to you going to a party to have a party and not going to a party to see who's looking at you in the party so that you could pop off. That's why it be so many fights in the Waffle House, because you ain't in the party partying. You in the party looking around, mean mugging, ain't burning up no energy. So now about time that you get to the Waffle House, you still amped up. You ready, and then that's where all the violence come in. And that's because they listen to, hey, look, it's some good guys out there, obviously. You got Kendrick Lamar, he's a great rapper. He, one day he'll definitely take his place amongst the greats. But he's not the rule, he's the exception. J. Cole, he's not the rule, he's the exception. The rule is some weirdo. These dudes is, and you can call it hip hop, because the beauty of hip hop is anything could be hip hop. and that's why you can call it hip hop. But it's barely hip hop, and it's disastrous. And as far as whatever we could have done socially, politically, it stopped it. It put a stop to it, because that's where the gains come in. You can't move around. You can't go from one block to the other block without it being, you just can't do it. There's too much beef going on. So, and I talk hip hop with people all the time, and I always say, where do people go? Where are people going that if they can't go nowhere? And the answer is nowhere. And it's because everybody want to be a tough guy, number one, and then the DJs play these songs with no regard, not giving it no thought about how this song is going. How does these songs make our kids react? And nobody wants to do anything about it.
Let me ask you, man, because people would love to know. I would love to know personally, because you're a strong, opinionated individual. Who do you think is the most overrated rapper of all time?
Overrated?
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a good question. It's definitely a lot of them, and the name that I would want to say, I'm not going to say it. but it's definitely a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But like I said, it's a couple of names, but the name that I actually do want to say, I'm not going to say that.
Right. Oh man, that's too funny, yo. That's too funny, man. Man, that's hilarious, yo. That's hilarious. Biggie, yo, they had him in the top 10. How you feel about Biggie? Do you think he's a top 10 rapper? Because I mean, some people complain about his catalog. They say he only had 2 albums, and
How many albums did Pac have?
Oh man, Pac had.
Oh yeah, he wrote all them albums. He wrote about 9 million songs. So yeah, you're right. Nah, if it was a top 10, absolutely. Cause see, what Biggie did was this. He wrote a East Coast version of West Coast rap, and that's why the shit took off. He brought that same that same complexion onto the East Coast, and he was the slickest rapper. I mean, you could say what you want to say about him. That nigga has some game. I'm sicker than your average. Papa Twitch cabbage on. Come on now. Like you can't get too much better than that. And then on one or two of his songs, it's like it was almost like he was in a zone. It wasn't no build up. It wasn't no punchline. It wasn't the setup for the punchline. It was just every line was just like, it was just so hard. It was almost perfect. So he would, as far as if you just talking about just rhyme skills, just the skills of rhyming, absolutely he would be a top 10 guy. Absolutely.
What do you say about people that say Pac had the best voice and delivery of all time? Do you agree with that?
That's not true. No.
Who you got?
No, it was a lot of guys. I mean, Spoonie G had a good voice. Going back then. I mean, Mo D, I thought he had a good voice. Rakim, I mean, it was a different voice, but I thought he had a good voice. I thought it was a rapper, not Cam from New York, but California Cam. I thought he had a great voice. This kid in California named Cam. He made in Cube's era. He was in that same era. Had a record called The Stereotype, and I thought DOC had a good voice.
DOC had a great voice, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunate what happened to him, man. He was I still have him as one of the greats, but yeah, that's heartbreaking seeing how his career was, cut short. You know, it could have been way bigger than what it was.
No, absolutely. Well, sometimes luck always goes into the equation. Sometimes it's good to be lucky. I don't think Tupac. I don't think he had the best. No. And see, and to me, and a lot of it, especially when you're talking about a lot of the rappers now, the modern rappers, and it proves forth in what they do. A lot of them are better actors than they are rappers. I thought Tupac was a better actor than he was a rapper. I thought he was a hell of an actor.
Oh, for real?
Than a rapper. I thought DMX was a better actor than he was a rapper. Because it's that persona, and when you take a guy like that and then you put him in front of a camera. I mean, DMX, he was a pretty good actor. If he could have just, stayed within himself and been more dedicated to what he was doing. And like I said, I definitely thought a Method Man. He's a good actor. Ludacris, a good actor. Because it's almost the same thing. If you got a persona, it's almost like you're almost acting anyway. So when you put that same guy in front of a camera, there you go. Mos Def, I thought he was a hell of an actor.
Hey, did you like Wu-Tang?
Yeah. They all, highly respectable guys. Always had love for the game. Wrote some, I mean that whole little era. That was a turning point in hip hop. I mean, as far as groups go, that was a turning point. I thought that was greatness. As far as greatness, as far as what they did with a group and and how they went about the structuring the deals and all that. Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I wanted to ask you, and I want to get your take on it, because Faison Love, right? I don't know if you know who Faison Love
absolutely.
is, but yeah, Faison Love, right? Cool dude of mine, man. I did a few interviews with him, and we be going back and forth about verses and stuff. And even though we got into a little back and forth about Jay-Z and LL Cool J, where he feels like LL Cool J will beat Jay-Z in the verses. He has a better catalog than Jay-Z. How you feel about that?
I think their catalog it would be about the same, but I think just overall popularity. I think Jay-Z just struck a certain chord with people. Because I used to speak real critical about Jay-Z, right? And even my daughter, Daddy, why they just love the guy. You know what I mean? To the point where and then looking at it in retrospect from here and then moving forward, if everything plays out the way it's supposed to, people are gonna need a Jay-Z more than they're gonna need Melle Mel's opinion about Jay-Z. So I just it didn't mean nothing. But I think he just struck such a chord with people, like as far as who he is, how he handled his business, how he lived his lifestyle. I think that would be the thing that'll put him over the top versus LL. I don't think it'll just be the music. I think it's just something past the music. Like even when we was at the Grammys, and then when we went to speak to Jay-Z, and I got all the things that we did at the Grammys, out all the it was definitely a great night. We got a lot of exposure. But when I got back to New York, if 100 people didn't ask me this question, they was like, "But what did Jay-Z say to y'all?" And it ain't like we really had a connection with him. But just seeing the OGs of the game, and then seeing the dude that has the stature of the game. Like even when we were standing there, like everybody came and they pulled out cameras. It was like about 9 people, with their cameras out, just taking pictures of us standing there. And that was the even when we took pictures with The Rock, like we took pictures with everybody. But that was the for some reason, and I don't think is I think is bigger than the music. Maybe is because him and Beyonce, and she got a lot of love from people. There's something about Jay-Z that sits him at that top spot. You know what I mean? Like his number one spot is definitely not only music driven. There's something else behind that, and then that's why he's number one. Everything that he achieved in his career and his persona, and I think, like I said, I think that's what puts him over a lot of the people that even would be on that list. It's just something that he did beyond the music. Because if you're just looking at it like music, it could go either way. But it was something. It's just something. It's something that he brings to the table that puts him at that highest spot, to where people, he's a lot more revered than a lot of hip hop MCs.
Yeah, it's funny you said it, because I did an interview with Big Gilt from Goody Mob, and he said that he feels like one of the reasons why Jay-Z is at where he's at is because of Beyonce.
It would have something. It would probably have something to do with it. I mean, if you could pull one of the top chicks in the game, that should do a lot for your status. I mean, it didn't hurt Bobby Brown none when him and Whitney got together. So you know what I'm saying. It does have something to do with it. Like I said, but it has to be something bigger than the music. It's not just the songs. It's something. Is something that that you would add to that keeps him at that spot. Because everybody that would be in that top 10, they basically did the same thing. So it has to be something else that makes the difference.
Right. Now I feel you. I respect that. There's a few more things we can I can ask you, and we can wrap it up. Yo, another thing I did want to ask you. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I didn't get it really an answer. How you feel about Willie D? Did you know about that? Willie D being mad at Scarface for not bringing him on stage?
I'm a fan. I listen to Willie D. I listen to his "What's up, family?" You know what I mean? That's how he start off. You know what I mean? I listen to him all the time, and I think he does have a gripe. But it's like I was saying, out of them 14 minutes, because I hung out with Scarface that night when we was at the Grammys. We all stayed at the same hotel, and we was up there eating chicken, and he came up and he sat down, we chopped it up, you know what I mean? Because I always had love for Scarface, but for the whole group actually. But he has a gripe, But even with Scarface, he was like, he's happy as hell that he came out. He's happy that he did it. It ain't like he backed away or that's my bad. He stayed on the square on it because it was an opportunity. You can't turn it down, because just like I was saying, even in our situation, me and Scarp wanted to do it. We didn't want to be on stage with Raheem because we don't work together. We didn't even want to be on stage with Flash. We don't work together. But either you do that, or you pass up one of the biggest opportunities, because for whatever it's worth, that's gonna last a long time. That's almost as big as when we was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when we got inducted. That 50th anniversary, that was a hip hop milestone. So either in our case, either we be on stage with Flash or Raheem, or we just give up the opportunity of being on the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Or in Face's case, either he see if he could politic him and Willie D being on stage, or he give up the opportunity of being, on one of the biggest shows of this year. I mean, that dominated the Grammys. So I mean, you have, and every individual, you have to weigh the odds of what it means to you. You see what I'm saying? Willie D had a reason to be salty, but Face had just enough of a reason to go do it. I mean, it was definitely it's just like how Ice-T said, if I didn't do it, they might have had Cube's number on speed dial. So either you do it or they're gonna get Cube to do it. You see what I'm saying? Is
how you feel about the people that will say that, yo, if they didn't let Willie D do it, Scarface should have never did it, out of loyalty to Willie D.
Well, it's just like I said, you have to weigh the odds. Now let's just say Willie D didn't do it, so then Scarface don't do it. So now the ghetto boys ain't represented at all. And so that's what you got to weigh, because when Willie D does it, he still is representing the ghetto boys. But if you don't have Scarface there, then who represented the ghetto boy? That's just a story that he'd be telling his grandkids. Yeah, I would have been on that show right there. Or his kids, I would have been on that show right there. Or his kids would tell their kids, yeah, my father would have been on that show right there. But he didn't do it because they didn't let his man do it. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, we had to weigh the odds. Either because that's what they wanted to do, and we talked it all the way up to the Grammy people. I'm not talking about just what Questlove and them wanted to do. We talked it all the way up to the Grammy people, and that's what you gotta land on. It's like either you do it or somebody else gonna do it. They're gonna get Sugar Hill or they might get the Cold Crusher, You never know.
Yeah, man, that's real talk, man. Melle Mel, man, great interview, man. Thank you for coming on the platform. Before we end it, let the people know what you got going on, yo.
But yeah, we got a lot. Actually, I'm gonna start doing my own little podcast, Melle Mel's Corner. We got the fitness thing we doing, the Mel Aesthetics. I'm gonna get ready to go to the Arnold, to do content because I like interview a lot of the bodybuilders. Of course, we got music we doing. We putting a tour together with us, Curtis Blow, and the Sugar Hill Gang. So that's going to be, because the main thing that I'm trying to do with this 50th anniversary is after this year is over, then we should be independent. We shouldn't be waiting. We shouldn't be waiting on the next anniversary for somebody to pick the important parts of what it is that we could be associated with. You know what I mean? 50th anniversary came along at the right time because it put a different microscope on the whole thing. But and being on the Grammys is what showed you we got enough cachet as anybody else that was ever on the Grammys.
Absolutely.
We just don't promote it. We just ain't marketed right. It's just like how these young dudes market themselves. We don't market ourselves as good as them. So. Using the 50th anniversary to put everything, we got the podcast, we're gonna have the tour, we're gonna have some songs out there, we're gonna do a documentary, and to be independent, totally independent, and and not saying that I'm gonna be worth $1 billion, but I know I'm gonna be worth a lot more than I'm worth now by the end of the year if everything go right, and then classic hip hop will be well established, and we all will be able to make the same kind of money these young dudes make.
Right. Real talk, man. Melle Mel, man. Great interview, my
baby.
guy.
In the building. Melle Mel is not only in the building, Melle Mel is the building. Just stand me next to anybody. I'm going to stand up strong. God bless.